Praise be to Jesus. Well, we know that liberal cardinals have come out and said that, they've said such and such, and they attribute it to a conversation that they had with Pope Francis. And then we have Eugenio Scarfali, who is the publisher or co-publisher of La Repubblica last week, saying that the Pope told him that there wasn't any hell. All right, so along with that, now I've run across something where an Argentine nun says Pope advocates contraception. All right. So apparently, this is something that was said to this Argentine nun, according to her. Now, she gives a radio interview in Argentina about what Pope Francis told her. So I'm going to read. Now, the article is pretty lengthy, and I'm just going to read a little bit of it to you. And then, if you want to read more of it, you can do that. A famous Argentinian nun has said that Pope Francis told her that several forms of contraception could be permissible to stop those women who want to avoid pregnancy from choosing abortion. Now, this took place, let me see here. In 2016, in the wake of the scare that the Zika virus was causing serious birth defects in the babies of infected women, Francis tipped his hand. Asked by a reporter whether the church could take into consideration the concept of the lesser of two evils in response to the apparent health crisis. The Pope dropped what appeared at the time to be a biological neutron bomb. All right, and it has the words of, the interview, or, it has his exact words here. And so that's that. But what I want to do is read to you this part here. Okay, so now today we have the case of 77-year-old Sister Martha Poloni, a well-known Argentinian nun and self-professed feminist. She is described by Info Catholica as a professor, rector, and Argentinian religious of the Congregation of Teresian Carmelite Missionaries. Today, Sister Poloni, who is opposed to abortion, told a radio interviewer that the Pope had talked to her and recommended additional options to help women who do not want to get pregnant avoid choosing to abort a child. Quote, Pope Francis, speaking on the subject, said 3 words to me: condom, transitory, irreversible, said Sister Poloni, apparently in reference to 3 types of contraception he would consider permissible under certain circumstances. See, here we go, this is situation ethics again, certain circumstances. The first is a condom. The second, which she said he described as transitory, would be a diaphragm. And as a last resort, she said, which is what we advise rural women that we serve, because I have a foundation for the peasantry, tubal ligation, the latter being more or less irreversible. These methods, Sister Poloni argued, are not abortive or destructive in the woman. A curious claim, considering that tubal ligation is considered a permanent method, with reversal procedures not always proving successful. So, like I said, this is a pretty lengthy article here, but it's another example of Um, the Pope telling a cardinal or telling Scalfari, or in this case, an Argentinian nun, sort of, seeding them with this information, knowing that in the cases of um, cardinals, he chooses liberal cardinals. In the case of Scalfari, he's a not only liberal, but he's an atheist and a communist. He's a self-professed communist. And then we have a Argentinian nun who is very obviously liberal here. So, again, maybe one of these things don't stand alone as any kind of big deal, but for those people, and I wish there were a lot more of them, who would pay attention to what's going on in the news, in Catholic news. Again, over a period of time, you see patterns of how he how he runs this agenda, how he tries to put forth his agenda. Now, agendas aren't always bad. I don't mean to insinuate that. But it's obvious that he does have an agenda, and it's becoming more and more obvious as months and years go on of his papacy that he's heading into, a very liberal, um, um, bringing really a lot of liberalism into the church. And, I mean, there's going to be a point where he's going to have like, Catholicism is going to be dismantled to the point where it's no longer Catholicism, except in the hearts of those people who are Orthodox. So when that point comes, maybe it's already came. Maybe in the heart of God, he sees one person as accepting the liberalism that's being put forth by Pope Francis. In another heart, he sees that person holding on to the deposit of faith. And, there are two different churches. You can't have one church that believes two different things on the same topic. You can't have a church that part of the church believes in communion for the remarried, another part of the church doesn't believe in that. I mean, it can't be one church. There's no way it can be. This isn't maybe very apparent to most people. It'll take a formal schism of the church, which I believe will happen at some point. So anyway, I'll leave the link in the description box for you if you want to read some more of this. It's an interesting article, and there's some things in here that I didn't even know. So I'll do that, and that's all for now. Bye.